Hello, everyone, and we are back to the next session, which is what should AED Cluster do about it, mapping the way forward. Moderating this session is Carlos Maio. Again, Carlos, thank you for moderating this session also, and I will pass on to you. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Francisco. It's always a pleasure to moderate this kind of conversation with such interesting people. Mapping the way forward. Yeah, we're trying to mapping the way forward, and but maybe that's the $1,000,000 question. It's mapping the way forward. We have some answers already. I wouldn't say answers, but at least a path of upskilling, reskilling. And I have here, for example, Veronika Eckstein from Airbus, the head of Digital Academy, that is leading a group that is for this Pact for Skills, a group that is developing a European Commission project, Pact for Skills, that is studying all about upskilling and reskilling in aerospace. And we will forward our conversation around this upskilling and reskilling subjects. We have, after Paola Fantini from EIT Education, she will speak a little bit more about that. What is EIT Manufacturing Education? We have Rita Baptista, the HR director of the biggest Portuguese MRO, really important for aerospace Portuguese company. Thank you very much, Rita, as well. And then we'll have the approach of the University of Academy by Nuno, that is a Aveiro University teacher that has recently launched an aerospace course. And for sure he will give us his experience and his what does he feel about upskilling, reskilling, and how academy can help companies to develop that challenge. Okay, I will just the stars are our panelists, not me, but sorry, I will just share my screen to share what we are been doing in the Pact for Skills in the Aerospace ASD group for Pact for Skills. Veronika, I will show what we have been doing. So let me just share my screen then. Okay. So it's just 3 slides. So as I said to you, we have the ASD entity that joined, I believe, the biggest experts on upskilling and reskilling and skills related issues in the aerospace. This is the kickoff of this project was the how do skills fit into the updated European Union industrial strategy. So it is really important, the skilling and reskilling and all the skills issues that and the European Commission really stressed the importance of these matters. And we already have some work done. We divided this subject in 4 main axes. The skills forecasting, of course, trying to identify what is the path of skills that we will need for, that we will work with, and then to create teams of upskilling and reskilling teams and programs of upskilling, reskilling to spread throughout all the companies and all the entities in aerospace sector. Of course, we have as well to fight for new talent. We have to fight for to retain the talent that we have already. So these figures are really huge. The capability to attract, develop, and retain talents. 300,000 people in the next 10 years. It's a huge challenge. And then we have to engage the regional authorities, of course, and we have to. It's not just companies that have to make their effort, not to make their role as well. Public policies are requested for this. So then we have 8 main group of skills that we identified. Of course, the green transition is rather important in this. Carbon neutrality, circular economy. Then we have of course the digitalization of economy, the cybersecurity, data analytics, artificial intelligence, modelization, based system engineering, high performance computing. This is all about digitalization of economy, of work, of process. And then we have our behavioral skills. Yes, we had to have this in this to speak about transversal and soft skills. So then we go deeper. We went deeper, so to develop some details about this group of skills. And so this is what I would like to present you, to share with you that there is already some work done in this group that is led by Airbus. Thank you, Veronika. And so and I will pass to you, Veronika, about to say some words about this reskilling and upskilling. I know that you already have some work done. Please, the floor is yours.
Exactly. So just to quickly present myself, I'm as well representing today Beatrice Pons, who is officially, leading this. So since today, I'm officially part of her team. And of course, previously, I've been always involved in upskilling and reskilling initiatives as head of Digital Academy. So I'm now getting into a more holistic role as such. And it's true, maybe I can start with a little anecdote, all right? Around 2015, a very panicked executive committee member came into my room and said, okay, you know what, digitalization is coming up. I know that we have so much hidden treasure in our company, so much hidden potential, and I now really want to leverage on it. So can we please build a recruitment plan? Okay. And the first thing I said is, let's stop, okay? What are the profiles we are talking about first? So don't only talk about, the number of people. Let's look first of all at the qualitative view. What would we need? By when? And as well, in which kind of, let's say, ramp up speed. And it turned out to be way more complex than that, right? Because what they figured out is basically that, we need technology, we need infrastructure, etc. So they had this all provisioned, but the skills part was a bit neglected at that time. So we really deep dived into what would we need, by when, and what is, let's say, a first starting block. And we very quickly realized that, one of the first starting blocks for digitalization is data. Okay, you want to make the best out of your data. So you can aim for, the real fancy stuff, high performance computing, cloud, etc. But the first thing you would want to leverage on is how can I, take more out of the data I already have, and how can I, further capitalize on it. So we very quickly said, okay, let's focus and let's get it started. And we piloted an upskilling, and it then turned into a reskilling program on advanced analytics, which is, let's say, the first basis for, more advanced data science as such. And again, I stopped a little bit that logic to straight away, once we knew which skills we needed, to straight away jump into external recruitment. Okay. Because again, and this is really a lesson learned I can share with you, already back then when I was exchanging with the other companies, they were saying you can recruit the best data scientist from the external world, but then good luck with explaining your kind of data. Good luck with explaining your business context. It will take you a long time to add that business understanding to it. So we turned it around and we said, all right, instead of going for that war of the very, happy few data scientists on the market, let's believe in our workforce and let's launch an upskilling and reskilling program. And our logic was a very easy one, was to say we take employees who have basic, programming skills, but nothing fancy, really basic good understanding of programming. And let's onboard them on a so-called analytics upskilling program, which back at that time was designed to be 9 months in part-time, meaning they would still continue working, and at the same time they would gain all the skills like advanced analytics, statistical methods and modeling, visualization, etc. All those skills we would expect them to have. And at the end of the program, basically they can call themselves a data analyst. All right. So it was a bit stamped to say after that program, you get a proper certificate and you can call yourself a data analyst. And to be very frank, we went through a lot of different options looking at what would be a good, let's say, means to upskill our people. But I can tell you one lesson learned, and I think listen to me on that one, because we made that experience ourselves. Really, the most, or let's say the worst thing you can do is wait. Okay. So there is nothing you can do wrong, because really today's ecosystem, again, with learning opportunities, no matter whether we are talking about data science, cloud, or whatever technology we are talking about, the only mistake you can make is wait. Any decision you make is actually, let's say, quite easy to be corrected or reversible as such, because you always start with a pilot. And this pilot feels so, how can I say, privileged and honored and recognized that they are part of this exciting journey, that basically, they are very kind in, let's say, things that don't go that well or things that still need some fine tuning, etc. So our experience is it took us 2 pilots to really have a program that was ready for a larger ramp up. Now, if you ask me, what do you mean by larger ramp up? It's around, we are now at around 1,100 trained data analysts. And out of those, even 300 are onboarded to become AI professionals. All right. Just to give you a bit of a feel. But those figures shouldn't shock you, okay? It can as well work for 5 people or for 10 people. It's just to give you a bit of a feel. Mm-hmm. So that is my first lesson. And the second lesson is indeed really dare to ask stupid questions. What I mean by that is very often, we had discussions, we need data science skills, until I raised my hand. I said, okay, could you please put on a paper, and we were a round of 14 technical experts, put on a piece of paper what you mean by that for yourself, and then show it to the rest of the group. And you can't believe it, but we had a very diverse view on what we actually mean by this. So dig deeper and spend this time to understand what exactly are we looking for, because that is the worst, let's say wrong route you could take, is to invest into reskilling and upskilling on a skill those employees will never be able to use, just because your ecosystem, your business context does not allow it.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Veronika. And thank you as well for the lessons learned. I put it on the paper, so I will use it in the future for sure. But one other thing that I took, that it was in 2015, there was a rush. We need technology, we need data, yes, and data analyst, and then you had to say, yes, please, but before we have to speak about skills. It is, exactly. Then I will pass to Rita, but I think, Rita, it is always the HR manager struggles that, okay, let's be calm and speak about the skills and put it on the right importance. Before I pass to Rita, I will pass to Paola. Paola, thank you very much again to be with us. I will ask you to present a little bit of EIT, please, and your role in reskilling and upskilling the manufacturing world in Europe, please. Thank you.
Okay, yes, thank you, Carlos. Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here, and yeah, thank you. I represent here AED Manufacturing, which is one of the 8 innovation communities that are funded by the European Institute of Innovation and Technology. So it's a European body that is funding 8 of these innovation community in Europe. Ours deals with manufacturing. So we have, of course, a vision that is to bring global manufacturing to be led by Europe, meaning that not necessarily everything should be made in Europe. This is not realistic and not desirable, but that Europe has a leadership. And how we can do that by bringing together all the stakeholders and especially integrating, and bringing together academia, research institutions, and industry to work together towards this goal. In practical terms, we are an association, meaning a membership of this type of actors. We have affiliated in 5 countries to cover all Europe, and we plan to expand to more to the risk countries in a short time. We work with this model. We have now, just to give you an idea, we have 65 full members, but of course our ecosystem is much wider, and we incorporate new partners each year to contribute to work on these joint activities that we are doing. And we have a budget of 400 million up to 2026. As I said, we work on 3 main pillars, meaning innovation activities, education activities, and business creation. And by working together, these 3 activities, we can contaminate, our students are working on innovation projects, so they develop the skills that are really at the front end of technology. They work together with companies and research centers, and this is a way in which we can keep, of course, education up to date. But this is not only about students. Well, I will maybe go later on more specifically on the upskilling. Just now, Carlos asked me to introduce myself. So this is the association based in headquarters in Paris, and I am the education director. Well, I have a PhD, but I'm especially an engineer, so I think that we should go and have things done to be designed things. And I believe very much on human centricity in education, but also in industry. So to value the role of human and to help humans to develop competencies and skill in Europe.
Thank you, Paola. Thank you very much. It's really important your job, your role in EET to integrate the human competences, the human skills in the innovation community. Sometimes are forgotten, as we know, but now I think people are really getting understanding in a deeper way the importance of it. Rita, thank you very much again to be with us. I will pass to Rita, the HR director of OGMA, the biggest MRO in Portugal, really important company in the aerospace world in Portugal, not just in Portugal as well, but mostly in Portugal. I know that you have a lot of challenge, mainly of upskilling your people. Tell us a little bit about that, Rita, and your experience on that.
Okay, good morning to all. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to share this table, virtual table with all of us. all of you. So about OGMA, I think most of you know it. So OGMA, as Carlos mentioned, it's one of the biggest MRO, or the biggest one in Portugal. It's not only an MRO, so we have MRO business, but we have engine as well and aerostructure. So we build part of planes as well. So it's not only the maintenance of the planes. But we do as well the MRO for engines on Rolls-Royce, and the new project that it's public, so it's Pratt & Whitney, so the new engine for the new aviation in the future. That gives us a huge challenge, and regarding upskilling, it's why probably Carlos is talking about it. So we have around 2,000 employees, almost most of them are certificate or need to have a specific qualification. That give us a huge challenge to maintain them all on our target for regulations and certifications as well. And the main challenge on upskilling today probably is not remain and maintain or retain our people certificate and qualified and retain them on Portugal. But upskilling them on new platforms. So OGMA do the maintenance for old planes. So we are talking for old platforms that are on the market more than 40 years and will remain in the market probably more 20 or 30 years. But at the same time, we have as well new platforms, new planes with new technologies. So the innovation it's on our days, and we need to have this upskilling to our employees to I can say that to remain with the competencies and the capabilities for the old platforms, but upskilling them for the new platforms. Our challenge is not so much reskilling. Of course, we can have situations of reskilling, but it's not our main challenge. The main challenge is upskilling on new platforms. So we have new planes with the modifications we are doing at this moment. For example, the innovation of the new Swiss 130 and F-16. So it's OGMA, that engineers of OGMA that are developing that new platform. So do the modification of that planes, and that is the huge challenge: how we can with new platforms train our people on the new, upskilling them on new capabilities, but at the same time with the challenge of the regulations, because probably on the regulations we are not fitting fully on the new needs. So it's probably our main challenge.
Thank you very much, Rita. Yes, it's really a huge challenge to, and we have to be aware that yes, we need to fulfill the future skills needs, but as well we still have to fulfill the former skills, the older ones that will still be needed in the market labor. Yes, it's a transition process that is even more challenging than when the transition will end. Okay, Nuno, the question for you very directly. Please first present yourself and Aveiro University. But the question is, how university can help these people, and how can you put your students' learning to integrate in best possible way these companies. First of all, please, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, thank you very much for the invitation today. So I'm sharing some briefly group of slides. We are very young member on the teaching of aerospace in Portugal. Actually, we will start in 1 week. This is an amazing journey for us. And let me briefly explain our university. So we are a young university. We were founded in 74. So we have around 45, 46 years. So it's very, very young. And we have different departments from different groups. We are mainly an engineering university. but there are many other flavors in the campus. So we have around 16,000 students in different areas. We have a very nice campus with 93 nationalities in the campus. I think this is amazing because it creates a lot of different points of view on different technologies, on different aspects. And we are a university based on research. And that is what drove us to actually come to the aerospace industry. So we, in Aveiro, we already did research and development for space in the 80s. I normally joke in Portugal saying that we work for the European Space Agency before Portugal was a member of the European Space Agency. So that was a long point and a long process on this. And most of the activities were done in telecommunications, which is our strong efforts here in Aveiro. But more recently, we also have been working on mechanical aspects, structure, data science, design, so a significant number of other activities related with space. And that actually last year drove us to propose to our government the creation of a new bachelor. We call it licenciatura in Portugal, so it is a 3-year program on aerospace engineering. So as you know, we are, I believe, the 3rd or 4th course in Portugal. I think there are other 2 in public universities and 1 in a private university. We are the 4th coming to the market, which I think is a great motivation, and we are very happy to actually receive students this year on this. But answering directly to your question, and I don't want to spend a lot with my slides, where we university can help what have been discussed here today. So as I said, we start with the bachelors, but we want to do much more because we have the researchers in the lab, in the university, we have the professors, and our bachelor is actually divided in different minors in the 3rd year. So we have 2 years that is, to be honest, standard, equal to most of the aerospace engineers around the world. But in the 3rd year, we are going to divide in 4 minors, one on satellite communications, which, as I said, is our main focus in Aveiro for many, many years, design and manufacture, aerospace structures, and sensors and devices. So these are the minors we want to actually put for bachelors, but we will use these minors also in one thing that I think it's very important for Portugal, which is try to recycle other engineers. So what I mean by recycling, it means that there are other engineers on the market, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, computer science engineers, and we can actually bring them to the university, have a 1 semester course that actually can bring them to a different point of view, can bring them to the aerospace engineering. Well, the other thing we are doing now, we already have approved by the government, and we are going to start in 2022 a master in science in aerospace communication systems. So this is, as I said, to lever up all the research we have in the university for this. So I believe this is also a very good opportunity, mainly for satellite communications, but many other aspects like communications with drones, UAVs, and so on. So this is something that we will be doing starting next year. We have a summer school in aerospace telecommunications also, so we want to increase that. This was a little bit stopped during the pandemic. Unfortunately, we want to recover this year. Hopefully, we will be able to do that. And the other aspect I want to bring here is that University of Aveiro is a member of the ECIU, which is an organization in Europe of innovative universities. This is the name. It's a European consortium of innovative universities. And there is a concept of micro-credentials that is being discussed there, which is very focused topics that can actually bring already existing aerospace engineers to actually improve and increase their knowledge in a specific topic. So we are at the moment thinking in some of the micro-credentials related with aerospace telecommunication structures, but many others could appear depending on the company. So as you know, we are also teaming up with other companies, the industry in Portugal, and we hope to receive from the industry their needs and see how we can put these micro-credentials on the table so that we can feed and try to cover some of the needs from the industry in Portugal. Okay, so this gives the overview that I have for today, and I'm open for questions.
Thank you very much, Nuno. And the answer for my question was the right one. Recycle was the key word. And so Veronika, Nuno already learned your lesson. You recycled 1,100 people. And that brings me the question that is, okay, we are talking about upskilling, reskilling people, but our sector, the aerospace sector, as all the other ones, have a huge challenge that is fighting for the new specialized resources. And what is the role of the upskilling, reskilling in retain and as well bring new people, because we have to bring people to this sector, but we have to maintain as well the knowledge that we have. And as you said, Veronika, first of all, people thought, okay, let's search for the best data analyst in the market, but no, we have these skills in house. So let's just work with these skills. And I'm fully sure that this 1,100 people that were trained are more retained than the other ones. So and the reskilling and upskilling process can be retained policy or an engagement policy for this sector. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I fully agree with you, because it's true that, we made a bet, right? With letting, for instance, our classical example, flight test engineers or even financial controllers to go through that reskilling, because all of a sudden, they can label themselves with a profile and go external. So we made a bet, and there was a lot of resistance even internally in our company to say, hey, aren't we putting money on the table, then people will leave. We see, of course, I won't tell you that everyone stayed, but I mean, show me a company where everyone stays, right? So you always have a natural attrition. But globally speaking, I would say we really retained a lot of people that I think would be on the go if we hadn't offered this, opportunity. And as well, let's be very frank, we retained people because we opened new career opportunities for them. I will never forget a quality engineer, and in her end 40s, who told me, I would have never imagined I could reorient my whole profile, my whole professional life and opportunities towards this new branch. First of all, at my age, and second, in such a, let's say, a very specific area such as quality. Well, she's now, doing data science, still in a quality setup, but no longer being the pure, quality engineer as you would imagine it. So I think that was as well a factor just to say, okay, this company is willing to invest in you, and a lot of people recognize that. So you could, reach a certain, let's say, loyalty even, a really high level of loyalty. And employees were then saying, okay, I stay in this company. I will reorient my career in this company, but I will stay in this company. And very funnily enough, I quickly touched on that. We started with the data analyst upskilling, and I would say in 2018, 19, artificial intelligence came into the play, right? And I would say, even though the program is rather painful, let's face it, reskilling can be quite painful for the learner, but I think around 20% of those who went through the data analyst onboarded on the AI one. And already that shows me as well, you know, this level of retention, not only by looking at the attrition figures, but also by looking at, you know, apparently they enjoyed this experience and they want to repeat it, right? So this is really one factor. And last but not least, don't underestimate the aspect of word of mouth. What I mean by that is a lot of, you know, colleagues speak to each other. And we had a lot of cross references. And of course, even though not everyone will onboard on this program, it's still, you know, something sticks to people's mind to say, all right, yeah, so the company is really willing to you know, leverage on their current workforce and not only fish outside and think, okay, in any ways, we've lost our current workforce. So that is also an aspect that contributed a lot to our, let's say, internal employment marketing and to our internal brand to say, yes, you know, we are willing to invest in you. We only need you to buy into it.
And Veronika, how can we as well spread the word mouth to mouth outside of the company? How can we spread? We will speak in the end of this panel about a program that AED will run since October. But how can we help, for example, Nuno to have more students to integrate in our companies and spread the mouth to mouth, saying, okay, this sector is reskilling, is upskilling, is on the edge of the technology, on the edge of the future, let's say. How can we spread this mouth to mouth?
So I can only speak, let's say, from my perspective. It's definitely not complete, but from my perspective, globally speaking, I would say testimonials are the most powerful tool. As soon as people, you know, I could be there on stage and do the big communication on how great reskilling is, upskilling is. Ultimately, it's really the real life stories that convince people, colleagues, but also managers. So what I mean by testimonials is those people maybe who went through upskilling and reskilling programs, but also testimonials by managers who had the chance, who had the privilege to welcome somebody who was reskilled, who took as well a bit of a risk to hire someone or to include someone on or put on activities that, you know, this person didn't go through an entire lifetime or in the first course of studies. So I can only tell you that, let's say, for our scopes, and believe me, we are as well, you know, pushing that message. The testimonials are the most powerful tool, real life stories and also unusual stories. So another thing I could maybe raise is to say you really from the very beginning need to pay attention to as well a certain diversity of testimonials. Because something that and I took that feedback on, or something people raised to me is that, yeah, you know, in your first pilot group all the people were rather young, you know, it was quite the classical areas they were coming from. So I was very happy when I had the first participants from HR, when I had the first females, you know, onboarding, when I had the first let's say people rather in their 40s, 50s, just to say, look, guys, you know, it's quite representative, and to pay attention to this diversity. And then, as I said, to as well not only take the learners on stage or the success learner stories, but as well the managers, the companies who then included, onboarded those employees.
Thank you, Veronika. Paola, you said that your organization was a community of different entities with different goals, but of course with one main goal. It was to raise the importance of education activities and business education in manufacturing world. But tell me. We speak a lot, and there's the final question to Nuno will be that how can he interact with the industry? Yes, he spoke about reorient new professionals, but how can tell me your experience of integration community with different goals, with different, but with one goal, but with different scopes, with different goals. How can we can put entities working together in this path of reskilling, upskilling, and create a new manufacturing policy in Europe?
Okay, yes, maybe your question requires 2 levels of answer. I would say maybe the first one is more practical. Of course, this community was brought together with the idea of promoting themselves, offering themselves to the European Union as the ones that would lift manufacturing and bring manufacturing to the leadership. But then operationally, we create policies together with the partners, launch call for proposals, and our members and also external partners can join forces, create consortia in order to help us in developing the programs and the activities. So in this way, we have, I think, a sort of continuity that is given by these policies and the strategy that we have, the objectives. But at the same time, we have a constant renewal of the offer, update of the models and innovation in the programs. Yeah, more specifically on the upskilling, well, we have something about more education, and I mentioned this about this AED labeled master and PhD, in which we integrate with the industry and innovation and business creation with the objective of having students that finally becomes either startuppers or innovators within their companies. But if we focus on more on people that are already in working, we have launched 2 programs that will start next year. One is more addressing SMEs, because often they do not have the capacity, they don't have such advanced HR structures as the representative that we have today. So here, the consortia through association and other members that are closer to the SMEs will have a kind of assessment of the skills together with the companies. We call this program Transform Through Education. So starting from the business plans of these companies that want to increase digitalization or have a green transformation, for example, there is a co-assessment of the skill gaps and then the co-design of a roadmap, and then we kind of be the broker to provide and deliver training. And the second program is more in line what Nuno explained about recycling, maybe engineers or maybe technical experts that because of new technologies coming in, or because electrification, this kind of stuff might require to get some verticals, but also to change a little bit their mindset. So what we offer in a program that we launched in 2022 are personalized training that we call the Flexi Enhance to upskill them technically, but also expose through internship or international work with the international teams to develop transversal skills and more an innovation and entrepreneurial attitude that they will bring back to the companies and make the difference. So these are the 2 things that we are launching next year. I'm very anxious to see the pilot, as Veronika mentioned, and we are very looking forward to the first results.
Thank you, Paola. You raised two questions that is really important. We won't have time to discuss it. So you are already invited for a new panel, but because it is the upskilling of the upskilling to entrepreneurship skills, It is really important. And of course, the recycling of engineers that obeys to a mindset changing that Veronika already said, that people in these 40s said, I didn't imagine that I could change my way or my path, my career path. Yeah, it requires not just the technical reskilling, but as well a mindset reskilling or upskilling. I don't know, but it is really important. Rita, you will be the last, but not the least. So I will pass to Nuno, because I want to take this the lead of Paola about recycling engineers, because we have a demographic pyramid that is inverted, so we won't have lots of young students integrating your university, Nuno. So you'll have to work for the workers that are already in the companies. You will have for sure to work for the companies. How will you manage that? How will you manage that link and that communication between you, the workers, the companies? It is really interesting. Then I will ask to Rita. Yeah, people will upskill and reskill, but how can we retain them? Because they are upskilled and reskilled. they can think about something new, maybe not in our company, but it's something. It is really challenging for the HR managers in the companies. But no, how is your link? How is your communication with companies, with actual workers in the companies to recycle them?
Thank you very much for the question. Actually, as I said, there are two aspects of this recycling. One is the engineers or the technicals or the employees that are already in the industry. So they already know the industry, they know where to go, and they know what they are their needs. And these we have been doing this for other industries in the past. I give you an example: automation. Automation in the past do not have any wireless in the middle. At a certain point, wireless is everywhere. So they came to the university, the companies came to the university saying, we need to give this pack of knowledge to my employees because they need to go in this direction. So, and this happened with, as I said, wireless was one thing, but is happening also for information systems, data science. This is very important at this point. And actually, Aveiro is a university that actually has a very strong background with working with companies, working in projects with companies. And this, of course, motivates everybody to actually produce better engineers in this aspect. Well, the second thing is recycling, which means that there are people that are completely out of the area, and we need to bring them to the area. A good thing is that aerospace at this moment in Portugal is, I will say, a very, very sexy topic. So there are a lot of people that took their degrees in other sources that are actually contacting themselves to the university, saying, can I rejoin your undergraduate studies? Can I do it again? Because most of the engineers, if you look to all the universities, I will say that most of the engineers, the first and the second year, they already did the courses. They already know math, they already know physics, they already know most of these courses. So it will be easy for them to actually come and rethink of a new strategy, learn new paradigms. And as I said, one thing that I learned as a professor, motivation is 90% of the goal. If we can motivate them.
Yeah, sorry, let me introduce the soft skills and transversal skills during the education path, the training path of students. How do you feel is this being integrated? Is this, you said that the 90% of skills are motivation for them. How can you develop? How can you work the soft skills and the transversal skills in the students that will be so much important for them during.
Yeah, it's good that you actually address that. You know also that this year for Portugal, for all engineers courses in Portugal, is a change year, because the government this year stopped our what we called integrated masters. So starting this year, we should have a 3-year program plus a 2-year program, so a bachelor plus a master. So this is really a challenging for all the universities. One thing that we include in our university in Aveiro in all engineering degrees is a 1-year course. So it's if you are familiar with the ECTS, it's a 6 ECTS course for a complete year with, we call it complementary knowledge. So we are bringing to that course, we are bringing management, we are bringing innovation, and we are bringing basic programming for engineers that are not computer science. So we are bringing a significant number of different skills, as you said, that will actually allow students to have a broader aspects. And I'm now remembering data science, for instance, for electrical engineers, or data science for mechanical engineers. This is something that we are doing now in a full year course that actually is given to all engineers in the bachelor degrees. Not only aerospace engineers, but all they will have that. So this is one thing. The other thing that was also included in our courses is what we called an open option. What it means that students can go around the university and select whatever they want. So they can go and open their minds wherever they want. I normally advise them to learn Chinese, because I think it's very important in the future, but they can actually learn wherever they are. And then these are some of the aspects we are actually working at this moment for bachelors and masters in the terms of soft skills, if you want. But as I was saying, I was bringing the motivation not for these students that are already here. I'm bringing the motivation for the students that are not in our field, that probably never heard about aerospace. And I think that motivation and of course, bring them to the universities, bring them to the labs, bring them to the industry. I think collaboration with the industry, where they can see what the industry is doing, they can have the knowledge of what the industry is doing. I think AED is doing a very good job showing to the society what is aerospace in Portugal. And I think this is very important to actually motivate them to change their lives.
Yeah, thank you, Nuno. Aveiro University is really a best practices and really high level of linking and working in partnership with the companies, and congratulations for that. And you said thank you very much. It was not combined, but Nuno spoke about the AED role in spread the word about aerospace in Portugal, and not just in Portugal, but of course mainly in Portugal. I have here my colleague already, Mara Cairo, that will speak about a program of AED program that will spread throughout the schools in all country, the aerospace sector in Portugal. But first, I'll go to Rita. Rita, Nuno said that he's teaching Chinese to his students. Are you teaching Chinese to your workers? No, that's not the question.
Not yet.
That's not the question. But you have a huge challenge. Yes, you said that the upskilling is your biggest challenge, but you have as well huge challenge to recruit new people, to recruit people, not just new people, younger people, but as well people from other sectors. What do you have to give to these people to say, okay, we are a better industry than yours that you are working nowadays. Nuno has a really good course to give you and to prepare you to, as an engineer, to prepare you to integrate my company. Okay, but what do aerospace sector have that can be fashion to people from other sectors.
Differentiate. So we didn't align before, but I will not say something much more different that Veronika already mentioned before. So it's true that to retain the people here, it's important to have the development, the career paths, integrate them in trainings that they feel that they are growing, have opportunities inside the company that they are going for different areas, as Veronika mentioned. So we are a bet on internal recruitment. For example, all opportunities in the company are open to all employees. So everyone, of course, they need to have our mandatory requirements to fill in, but all employees can turn them career in different paths. So I think that it is important. In the past, doesn't exist. It's a very silos organization. And today we can give this to the employees, and we relaunched the academy with a new brand, open it to not only to the mechanics but engineers as well. Of course, OGMA have a more focus on engineering and mechanics because it's the main need. But we are already have challenges for financial people, for lawyers, so they are support HR, so they all support areas, and we are developing them, of course, with the support of the Embraer group as well, as we are part of the group. And this job, as Veronika mentioned before, our employees and the way our employees see us and path to the market, them perception of them career development, is for sure the best way to tell us in the market. I don't have any doubts on that. We are building the academy. We need to have some certifications that we need for the future, and probably selling training for the market. It's another step we want to achieve, is selling our knowledge to the market, because OGMA is a school in the market. So we have that skills inside of the company, so we can develop them, and we are working on that target. But we work with schools as well in the universities with partnerships. And for example, locally, we go to the schools, the secondary schools here, to sell what kind of positions the young people can have in an aeronautical company. That is, I think, is the first step for them sell to the universities, because if you only sell these positions or these markets on the universities, it's a little bit late. So we need to go to the secondary schools, because not all positions are engineers, not all positions need to have a graduation. And most of our people don't have a graduation. Of course, we have more than 200 engineers, but we have almost 1,000 mechanics. So it's a different scope. It's important. Of course, the mechanics can grow for engineer in the future. So it's a career path. Not everyone goes for engineer at this first level. So what we are developing inside is, and outside, of course, because the works start inside, as Veronika mentioned, but later we go outside and we completely change our employer branding for the market. The way we approach the market, we launched, for example, a trainee program that we call OGMathon. This is like an hackathon, but it's not IT, so it's aeronautical. We call OGMathon, and we bring 100, for example, 100 trainees inside of the company to have a challenge. From that 100 pass 50, and from that 50, the 20 stays in the OGMA. So it's a way we work with the market that give us a visibility in the universities and the employee market, but at schools as well. So we have to start at the secondary schools to sell our aeronautical market is offering not only pilots, not only, so we have so different offers in the market.
It's a question of employee branding. In the previous panel, we were speaking about space, and people just think of that space is astronauts, and it's not. That's a whole bunch of jobs that we have to develop the employee branding. Of course, in aerospace as well. For example, mechanics
it's one of them. And for example, to certificate 100 mechanics per year, it's a lot. So it's a lot of investment. And of course, OGMA cannot stay with all of them, but we can, of course, prepare them to the market. And we relaunched, let's say, not launch, but relaunched the academy with the new branding, with new partnerships, with different partners from universities, schools, companies. And I think it is moving forward, and I think is the next step for
and congratulations for your initiative for your academy. It's really an outstanding initiative from your side. Thank you very much, Rita. Thank you very much, Paola. Veronika, really thank for your availability. Nuno, we'll wait for your Chinese learning. But now we would like, it's a little bit out of agenda, but it's important to give you awareness. This panel was what should the AED cluster do about it, and to help companies and to help, for example, Rita to bring more students to her academy. I will pass the floor to my colleague Mara. Mara, she will start to operationalize a program that is a project that is a consortium between AED cluster, the Portuguese aerospace cluster, but as well the Portuguese maritime cluster. And she will spread in the next 2 years throughout the schools of all Portugal, the aerospace and maritime sectors with the program MAR and R. Literally translated, Veronika and Paola, air and sea.
Carlos, can I share my screen?
Yes,
because I think it's much more easier. Okay. Yeah. So hello, Veronika, Paola, Rita, and Nuno. Very nice presentation. I don't know if you can see my screen right now.
Yes, now you can see Mara. Yeah.
Okay. So as Carlos was saying, the project name MAR IAR, it's a 2 years project. We have so this project was born from the need to respond to the market gap between the supply of specific qualifications and the demands of these qualifications by companies in the aerospace and maritime sectors. So the consortium is formed by, as Carlos told, AED and Fórum Oceano, and seeks to raise awareness and make known new professions in these sectors the most young people don't know about. These are the goals. I think we don't have time to read all of these, Carlos. But
yes, Francisco is pushing us about time.
But if you want, I can share with you all the details after the session. So here I explain here with more detail the activities. In fact, we have two big and very important areas for different target audience. So high school students and university students. This is the target for the high school students. We will create a career kit. So it aims young students to learn about maritime and aeronautics in order to attract them to the market, them to this field. Here we want to build a catalog of formative offer. And we want to elaborate a computer tool for online consultation. So the career kits will be disseminated for the students, for the schools. And obviously our idea is to disseminate the tool for students, teachers, educators, for community in general. The dissemination will be taken during the school visits in the North, Center, and Alentejo. There are 3 different regions, different Portuguese regions. The immersion programs are a little bit different. We have three immersion programs linking industry and academy. The first one, Holidays at Industry. It's taking students to the industry during a short period in summer. They will be in the industry during 4 days to follow the professionals and the day-to-day challenges they have. And then we have school at industry, and the other side, industry at school. So the students can visit the industry. The students should have a practical, recreational, and explanatory components of economic activity. And by the other side, the industry will be present at the school. Our plan is to bring projects, bring prototypes, So trying to create a more participative, trying to bring the students to participate in activities developed by the industry. For the other hand, the immersion programs to the university. Here we have two programs. Here we have students who already have background in the sector. They can have a direct contact with professionals, technicians, and get to know up close the challenge and the innovation present in these sectors. The contact program, it's a trainee program. Here, the company can create, for example, an exhibition, a workshop, or a fair alluding to its business. So this contact program is developed in the school, in the university in this case. So we don't have time, but I would like to share with you these numbers. So an output very important will create two career kits. One kit for aeronautical and aerospace, and another kit to maritime sector. 36 sessions will be disseminated in the school with more than 4,500 students. Then 36 visits will be done at the industry, and with more than 900 students will be present. And in the hands, more than 16,500 university students will be covered by the program in the university. This is our numbers. Carlos, it was too fast, so yes. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Luis. Sorry, Francisco. They were really pressuring me about time, but I think it was really important because this is to work to Rita, to work to Nuno, to work to Veronika as well, to work for you.
Let me say just this. This is just an overview of all activities, because we have all of them very detailed in our program.
We will spread the details for you afterwards. But I think it was important that after this conversation about upskilling, reskilling, I think and I'm as a cluster representative in this panel, as AED representative, I think it is important to say that the clusters has a huge role on this as well, has a huge role to support SMEs. Of course, Airbus, OGMA has their own strength. They as well need the clusters, and we like to think that, and we want them in the clusters with an active role. But it is important to work for the SMEs as well, and it is important for us to develop some projects to have impact in the industry for big companies like OGMA and Airbus, but as well for SMEs. So again, thank you very much to you all. It was a really nice conversation. I again blame Francisco for this ending. So Francisco, the blame is all yours. We will stay here. We will stay here another hour for sure. But thank you again. And Francisco, unfortunately, I have to pass you.
Yeah, I would say that the fault is the speakers' tummies is their fault, because they are hungry now, because we have to lunch, and they also, the audience, I think they don't have that problem because they can grab a snack and listen to you all, but the speakers, I believe that they are hungry. So thank you very much, Carlos. Thank you once again, and thank you to all the speakers for participating and for such an insightful conversation and interventions. Thank you, Mara, also for presenting the project.
Thank you. Sorry for mine.
we have some questions in the audience, but once again, since we are out of time now, 30 minutes has passed by, so we will do what we did earlier. We will pass the questions through email to our speakers, and then we will reply to the persons, to the people who asked those. Okay, so from my side, that is everything. We will get back for the afternoon sessions at 2 o'clock, and Rui Santos, our general manager, will be the host. So thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed this morning panel of the Careers Day, and I hope you get back to the afternoon sessions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thanks.
you.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.